it's very, very hands-on. And the group, as soon as they join, they are put into a private Facebook group where everybody's in. And we do have weekly, when you talk about weekly, we have weekly live video workshops. So these are the workshops that everyone can attend, and they can learn new concepts, and they are recorded. So people who miss them can attend, can watch them. I have people from all over the world.
Hello, everyone. Today we have Erin Maurer with us for an interview. Erin is a nutritionist and a ketogenic living coach, and she currently resides in Switzerland. She first became aware of the medical uses of ketogenic nutrition beyond epilepsy several years ago when her practitioner actually recommended it to her for an option. Up until that point, she'd been very familiar with and an advocate of whole food nutrition, but her knowledge of keto was very limited due to popular myths found online and in mainstream news articles. Myths such as people on keto live off bacon and heavy whipping cream and will eventually have heart attacks, which is not the keto that today people are aware of. In fact, something called plant-focused ketogenic diets are really the opposite of that. This type of ketogenic nutrition plan focuses on whole foods and plant proteins, and it can also include moderate amounts of animal foods that provide important nutrients that are really difficult to obtain from plants. A lot of research plus some additional specific training for Erin, and she now works with clients seeking to benefit from whole food ketogenic nutrition. Erin also started her own private practice in May of 2021 to help educate, guide, and support those who are really interested in ketogenic nutrition or need a ketogenic nutrition therapy and successfully transitioning to a well-formulated whole food ketogenic nutrition approach. She chose a coach to really be that person who gets in the trenches with her clients on a daily basis. And Erin is passionate about coaching and her private practice because she's seen how difficult it is for people to make long-lasting changes. And she wants to help those for what seems impossible possible for them. So today we'll welcome Erin, and without further ado, we'll go ahead and start our interview. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Santa Barbara Nutrients YouTube channel. We have a very special guest today, Erin Maurer. And Erin's going to be talking to us a little bit about her private practice and how she approaches nutrition with PKD patients. So we'll go ahead and start off, Erin. I was hoping you could let me know a little bit more about your private practice and what exactly you do with that.
Sure. Well, I started out coaching clients looking to improve their health using whole food, lower carb nutrition. I ended up moving pretty much exclusively into ketogenic nutrition. I found myself working more and more with clients who wanted or needed ketogenic nutrition to help manage or reverse chronic or inflammatory illness. And the benefits I saw were pretty amazing. I got pretty excited, and I also started feeling a little desperate, like, why don't more people know about this? The science is amazing. The results I've seen are amazing. And so that's where I just decided to live. So currently I run an ongoing program. I do use individualized one-on-one coaching, so a lot of that, very personalized. And then I also have group coaching and participation. And I think for me, combining both of these is really important because it allows me to help more people, and it also gives the best support to those that I work with. Now, ongoing, what I mean by kind of an ongoing program is there's no start or stop date. There's no start or stop date, sorry. So someone can jump in at any time and start working from where they're at, as well as being able to, they work with me, they work in the group, and it doesn't matter when they start. If someone wishes to stay in the program, they can extend it month by month because even though I say it's ongoing, and people can join at any time, that might make it sound a little bit like it just is a never-ending program. It's actually 13 weeks. It does include a preparation period of up to 3 weeks. So people who work with me can expect to spend the next 4 months of their life with me. That's what I do. And I think, I don't know, did that answer your question?
Yeah, no, that was great. And I wanted to see, so is this a weekly meeting with you, Erin, or how does that kind of work? I know you said about 4 months. Is it just based on an individual plan, or how does that work out?
Yeah. So what it does is when I start out and somebody joins up, I spend an hour with them. We talk
Hmm.
about their health and come up with an individualized plan for them.
Okay.
And then beyond that, throughout the preparation period and the duration of the program, they can email me anytime, they can text me anytime, and they can
Hmm.
even, Monday through Saturday, I have time periods when they can book appointments for, quick SOS calls, so one-on-one
Okay.
calls. So it's very, very hands-on. And the group, as soon as they join, they are put into a private Facebook group which everybody's
Okay.
in. And we do have weekly, when you talk about weekly, we have weekly live video workshops. So these are the workshops
Oh,
that
wow.
everyone can attend and they can learn new concepts. And they are recorded.
Mm.
So people who miss
Okay.
them can attend, can watch them. I have people from all over the world living in different time zones. So they can't always attend, and this enables them to just not miss anything. And it also enables people who join at different
Hmm.
times to kind of start where they need to start.
Yeah. Very neat. I like that idea. And as you mentioned that you have people from all over the world. And so if I remember correctly, you have a couple of different options for people, right? In the United States and then also in Switzerland, you have some, so you can really take individuals from anywhere. Is that correct?
I do work in English and I also work in German. So
Very
anyone wanting
cool.
to work in German, that's a separate group, obviously. um, but I do work with pretty much anyone who has internet access. And I do work with
Hmm.
people who have different needs. And so I can, that's why the individualization is
Hmm.
necessary. I do, for example, work with people who have PKD,
Hmm.
and they have specific needs that need to be addressed, and other people
Yeah.
who have other issues, and we just go on a case by case
Right.
basis and do what will work best for them depending on their health. And
Hmm.
but everybody eats whole food nutrition. So for everyone, it's pretty much the same in that the diet is very nutrient dense and carbohydrates are coming mainly from vegetables,
Hmm.
some fruits, nuts and berries, those types of things, and
Okay.
then other macronutrient ratios will be adjusted just depending on the person.
Okay. Okay, yeah, that's great. I really enjoyed how you mentioned that it was individualized. So you deal with BKD as well as other clients. And so it sounds like the nutrition approach that you kind of take for clients, although, it is individualized, is a whole nutrition kind of plant-focused ketogenic diet. Is that correct?
It is. It is very much so. It is very much so. And so for someone with PKD, for example, their sources of protein,
Hmm.
we're a little bit more careful about their sources of protein and also the amount of protein depending on what stage of kidney disease they're in. They also have some other things that we keep in mind, which is oxalate content, and then
Hmm.
specific micronutrient goals, and sometimes a little bit of restriction, just different things like that.
Hmm.
So
Yeah. Very neat. I really like how you're able to see, well, first, individuals from all over the world, because that's much needed. And, in some countries, they don't have access to anybody who's willing to help them with a nutrition plan, whether or not they have PKD. And so I think that's first extremely important. And I know you're very, very well experienced in a, ketogenic diet approach, but low carbohydrate. What does that nutrition plan really look like? And I know that's probably a long answer, but overall, I guess, what does that typically look like for any individual?
Yeah, for any individual. So, oh boy, and that could get really long. You know what? It depends. Um, so ideally, it will look like minimally processed food, low
Okay.
intake of added sugar in any form. So anything you would put in your food to make it sweeter, from honey to fruit juice to sugar,
Mhm.
brown sugar, that could affect your glucose levels. You would
Mhm.
be eating low on that, and also reducing the carbohydrate intake. When I say carbohydrate intake, I'm generally a lot of times we think about breads or pastas or
Mhm.
rice, but fruit is also carbohydrate. So
Right.
maybe what a lot of people generally what I see happen a lot is that people might have a half a plate of noodles and a fourth of a
Mm.
plate of you know protein and maybe even less of vegetables. We're trying to
Mhm.
alter that
Right.
ratio to maybe half a plate of vegetables and
Right.
a fourth of a plate of protein and a fourth of a plate of you know um, of the bread or the pasta or the rice. So that might be someone who's just trying to lower their carbohydrate intake, and then you get into even lower forms. So ketogenic diets are the lowest form. You have the lowest amount of carbohydrate, and they actually cause your body to alter the metabolic pathway, and the main source of energy becomes fat.
Mhm.
And so um, this is something, generally what that would look like um, is, and this is cookie cutter answer. For example, like someone
Mhm.
with PKD, cookie cutter answer, 10 to 15% protein intake in a day, 5 to 10 to 15% carbohydrate, 70 to 80% fat.
Mm.
And it just depends. And a lot of times people, if they come to me and they have PKD, a lot of times they have something. In fact, I don't think I've ever worked with anybody who only has one specific health problem
Mm.
alone. There's usually other stuff popping up. And so not
Right.
only do we need to address for example, the PKD, but oftentimes
Mhm.
we need to address other things as well. And so this sort of cookie cutter percent amount will need to be adjusted, and just sources. And it sounds a little scary. I mean, it might sound like you're going to sit in front of a plate of lettuce and you're going to be drinking a cup of olive oil on the side, and that's going to be your meal. Um, but that is absolutely not the case. I serve ketogenic meals, whole food ketogenic meals all the time. We like to have guests. I don't say we're eating
Mhm.
keto today, people. I
Right.
just serve the food. They love it. And they can't even tell the desserts don't have sugar in them. So,
Oh,
it's
wow.
great stuff. I don't know if um, I will say, as far as, people might ask, well, what does a day look like?
Mhm.
For PKD eating and on a ketogenic diet. Um, and because I work with people from so many different cultures, and they don't all have the
Mhm.
same ingredients available to them. They don't even eat the same things, right? Um,
Right.
I I do have recipes that I can share with them, but I also help them to learn to look where to find the recipes, right? And I encourage them. And in fact, we even have a workshop on this. In fact, coming up, I'm doing one tomorrow,
Oh, wow.
where they yeah, where they learn to rethink. A lot of it is, for this to be sustainable, you need to be able to eat the things that you're used to, that you're comfortable with, that fit with your culture, that you like. But so it's important to learn to make substitutions, right?
Hmm.
If I want to eat, for example, curry with rice, I will substitute, well, I need to take out the rice. I will substitute the rice with cauliflower rice. If I don't want to buy it ready made, I can make it. If I don't want to make it, I grab a bag of frozen cauliflower, stick it on the baking sheet in the oven, roast it, and put the curry on top of that. I mean,
Hmm.
there are just different ways to do things. Just learning how to to eat in an enjoyable way and in a sustainable way, and a way that is works for your body. So, um, yeah.
Yeah, no, that was a great answer. And I think the whole, excuse me, overarching approach is this individualized component and a step-by-step process, because the feasibility of that can be extremely difficult. And I also liked how you mentioned the versatility of what you can have, right? And so it's almost like focusing on what can I have instead of what can I not have. And I mean, I would like to come over for dinner sometime. I know you're across the, you're outside of the country, but sounds like you have some great options given the fact you're dealing with so many individuals across the world. And, culturally, you're very well versed. So that's great.
It's good stuff.
And,
It's good stuff, and it's good to share. It's fun to be able to share with everybody, and it also gives a lot of support. I think it makes it that much more enjoyable when
mhm.
you have the opportunity to just hear and interact with people from just around the
Yeah.
world.
Yeah, exactly. That's very
So
neat. And we will post the links to Erin's private practices below this video as well too. So anyone who's interested will have access to that. And Erin is also part of the Santa Barbara Nutrients Practitioner Network, so I'll have that link down there too. But what that means is anyone will be able to set up obviously an appointment with Erin, but she also is able to help people who are interested in KetoCitra kind of walk through that process as well. And so my last question to you, Erin, is how, on your opinion, how does KetoCitra play a role in dietary management for those with polycystic kidney disease?
Um, I think it can play a very important role. I recommend it to those that I work with, and I love to recommend it to other people too. Maybe I should have a conversation about this with you
Yes,
guys. It tastes really good. It's
it
beyond the
does.
taste, which tastes really awesome. It's actually really great. Beta hydroxybutyrate supplement. But yeah, that aside, for PKD, so I can see, I can envision two situations. Well, anytime it would be beneficial for someone with PKD. And you can actually go onto the Santa Barbara Nutrients website, and there's a page where you can read up on the science, the latest science on that, which is actually pretty neat. And you guys say it better than I do. But if a person is focusing on a kidney-friendly diet, and preferably one that is, mainly whole foods, lower inflammatory. So you're not going out and having fast food every day and taking your beta hydroxybutyrate supplement and thinking that's gonna be
Right.
okay. If you're paying attention to your diet, and you're moving and taking care of yourself, in that situation, if you're not on a ketogenic diet. Now, for people who are on a ketogenic diet, I still think I really like to recommend it because you're getting the biggest bang for your buck, so to speak, with the exogenous ketones. So the beta hydroxybutyrate is a ketone. Taking that in through the drink, and also on a ketogenic diet where your body's producing its own beta
Hmm.
hydroxybutyrate, you get a real double whammy, and you can have really great benefits
Right.
for your kidneys
Yeah.
with that approach.
Right. Yeah, I think that's great that you mentioned that. I think that, the interesting thing about KetoCitra too is that obviously the BHB, right, to help further raise BHB levels with that exogenous BHB, but also the fact with the component of citric acid to help with normalizing the urinary pH, which a lot of individuals have issues
Yes.
with PKD. But it's also made to be kidney friendly,
Yes.
which I think is is something to be really kind of, strong hold on that point, is given the fact that a lot of these even separately, BHB or citric acid have a lot of components in them that aren't, safe for kidney patients. And so I really like the
Yeah.
approach how you
Yes.
mentioned, for people, it's a dietary approach as well, right? You don't want to go out and eat 5 Big Macs and think that taking, KetoCitra, the medical food, is going to be like magical. Your BHB levels are going to be great, right? It's all about a sustainable dietary lifestyle changes as well with that combination.
Yeah.
Very nice. Very cool.
Yeah, exactly.
This has been really informative, Erin. We really appreciate your expertise. And like I mentioned before, we'll have all of the links to Erin's private practice and the SBN practitioner network below. And I really encourage everybody to check that out, especially those who, don't have anybody to talk to about a ketogenic diet approach. Erin's an expert in this field, and so she would be a great person to meet with. Thank you again, Erin. It's been wonderful today.
Thanks for having me. It was fun.
Have a good one. Bye-bye.